Good morning, this is Tom with the Tractor Rescue Ranch. I just thought I might bring you guys along on this. Thought it might be interesting to you. A friend of mine brought this in, asked me to take a look at it and see if we could get it fixed. Anyway, looking at it here, it appears to me that it must have thrown a rod or something, because you can turn it over and there is absolutely no compression. So I'm going to start by pulling the head off. We'll see if that piston's going up and down. So I got the spark plug out of it, and the spark plug doesn't go over the top of the piston, but I can stick my finger down in there, pull it over, and there's absolutely no compression at all. Sticking this down in here, it's on top of one of the valves, and so I can feel that valve going up and down. I was hoping to be able to get into the chamber there, but the orientation just won't let me stick something down in there. So gonna have to pull this off and pull the head off, and we'll see more from what it looks like there. I had to pull the air filter off and got to get this fuel pump off. I think I can leave that right there in place for now. I've got this all unbolted. Okay, now we're ready to go to work up here on the head. Quite a bit of carbon in there. Yeah, I guessed it correctly. That piston's not going up and down. So it's probably a blown, or probably through a rod. Valves are going up and down like they should. So we'll have to tear it apart even more. Film me pulling this apart.
Okay, just a second. These sunglasses out of the way because I can't see the.
So, to get this rotor off, it's on a tapered shaft in there that comes out of the motor, and what a guy has to do is put a long pin in here, and then what I had to do, the end of this shaft was threaded, but I couldn't find a bolt that would fit it. And so it was too big for one size on the standard and too small for the other size. And I even went and bought a metric bolt to see if that would go in there, and it didn't work. So what I did here, I just gave up and tapped it out to a different size. So I've got a rod in there that we'll be able to see when I pull this apart. So I just turn that in to push against that rod, and it popped off that spline shaft, and this is the rod that I put in there. So now down in here you can see that shaft that's tapered there, and they tell me you can't buy a replacement motor for these old ones with that because of that tapered shaft. Nobody is making them anymore. So we're gonna pull that motor apart and see how much damage is in it to see if we can fix it from there. Okay, finally got that piston out. You can see the cylinder wall is kind of all dinged up, which is not a good situation. So there's the connecting rod. Connecting rod is just in pieces, and then this piston got beat up. Doesn't look like it's very good shape. The crank, I can feel it, and it doesn't feel as bad as you'd think. So, but there is one little spot that I can fill in there on that crank. So I will go ahead and look for some parts. But being this old, I'm wondering whether it's worth putting much money into. Okay, just to do a recap here, the decision's been made to scrap this welder. I tried to find a new motor for it. Looked at several different locations, talked to several different people with Briggs & Stratton and couple other places, and there are no new motors available for it. And with that connecting rod blown out and it messing up the cylinder, that old motor isn't really rebuildable. I'm sure you could probably take it and get it bored out and put an oversized piston in it if you could find one for that old of a machine. But anyway, there's a ding on the crank as well. And so with all adding things all up, we're going to just scrap it. It's not worth fixing. So it's kind of a shame, but it's quite a few years old, and there's just not a lot of options here. So anything anyway, that's where we ended up. And thanks for watching.